Hello everyone. Welcome to another Fortnite creative how-to. And this one's on how to last video we did on how to put up, or the last video I recorded, how to put up these little things on maps. So if on this map that I'm making a battle royale, you'll have all of the little things on the maps. People can press M, or if you're not on computer, whatever you press to open your map, and you'll be able to see all these and know where everything is. But today we're not focusing on that. Today we are focusing on how to get random items out of these, which are item granters. But we're not going to talk about those till later. So first thing you have to do before you can do all of that, and this is already set up. If I start the game, all of these will put random things in my inventory. But you want to go into this, the trigger, and you want to make sure, I'm going to scroll down slowly so everyone can see, you want all of these settings set on this. I don't know if I actually messed with any of those, but right here, you want it to activate on the game countdown phase. And you also want the delay to be on 1 second, because if it's not on 1 second, it doesn't work for some reason. And you do not want trigger sound or trigger VFX. I don't know what VFX stands for, but... And if you're not putting it in a hidden location, then you do not want it visible during game. And finally, when triggered, which is 1 second after the game start, you want it to transmit on channel 1, which is going to, once it transmits on that, it's gonna affect this thing. What are these? I don't know why I have these here. I am now depressed. But right here is a Mutator Zone. And basically what this does is it basically if you have someone in this zone and you turn off weapon fire, they cannot shoot their weapons. So if I was to go over here and I was to turn on not allow weapon fire, and I would start the game, nothing in my map would be able to use weapon fire. And so you want weapon fire on, and all these should just be auto on. This little hashtag right here, that's what tells me that, or you, that it's been toggled. And you want the zone width, zone depth, and zone height all on 100, so your entire map gets affected. So if someone spawns out in the middle of the ocean and they're not in that zone, then they are not going to get your weapons. So you want the zone to cover everyone. And you don't want it to be enabled at game start. You do not want it to be that. That's what the trigger gets enabled at. And it does affect players. It also affects creatures. And basically none of this up here gets affected. But you want it to enable when receiving from channel 1, which is what your little trigger is gonna put on. And you want it on player entering zone, transmit on channel 2, because the players will spawn in the zone and it will count as entering the zone. And you also want to disable when receiving from channel 2, so when it's enabled, it flashes on and off, and it won't affect anything else. So don't pay attention to Storm Eye shrinking. So after you get this done, you can always pause the video or go back if you missed something. But once you get that done, you want this in the middle of your map. Because if this is not in the middle of your map, it's not going to affect your whole map. That's why I have all my little, all my these things over here, and that thing is way over there, because I don't want it to affect these. But anyway, on to this. Basically, these are the things that are gonna grant you items. So they're item granters, which if you just search up item, then you'll see they're right here. I already have them in my inventory along with some other things. But basically, what you do is you go into this item granter, and you want them to keep everything that it grants. And none of this is affected. You want it to wrap. So it will loop around after it ends the available items, like it says down here, wrap. And you'll just go down to cycle to random item when receiving from the channel that your Mutator Zone gets disabled when receiving from. So you want your Mutator Zone to, when player enters, transmit on channel 2, and you want it to cycle to a random item on channel 2, and then it'll grant the item, and when the item is granted, you want it to transmit on channel 3. So now that that's done, you go over to this thing, and you want to change the grant condition to only if space. That's the same thing for the rest of these. And you want the cycle behavior on wrap, and cycle when receiving from channel 3. So after you receive something from that last one, it's gonna transmit, so this one activates and gives you an item. And then on to channel 4. And basically this one activates when on channel 4, transmit to channel 5. This one activates on transmit on messing up my words, channel 5, etc., etc. So these basically they just go on and on. Doesn't really affect them at all if you put multiple items in. But one thing that I would advise, you go into weapons, and you choose the weapons of your choosing. So let's say I want a combat assault rifle and a grenade launcher in my stuff. So personally, this is just for me. I like to have a five weapon inventory. First slot is assault rifles. So I have my little assault rifle giver here, so it'll give you a random assault rifle. Next slot is shotguns, so this will give you a random shotgun. Then go over to pistols and SMGs, which will basically give you deagles or pistols or SMGs and crossbows. So that gives you that, and this is just miscellaneous. I just throw whatever in it, like rocket launcher, ray gun, grenade launcher. For some reason I threw 2 ray guns in there, and a quad. And over here is the heals. Now something that I would advise is to not turn on infinite heals if you're gonna use fish or chug splashes, because those heal for too much if they're used infinitely. And also, another thing, you have to throw the amount that you want to give them in. So if I threw in one chili chug, I'd be granted 1 chili chug splash at the beginning of my match. And you don't want to just give them 1 slurp fish. You want them to have 6 chili chugs or something. And remember, you can always pause or go back in the video if I'm going too fast, and I apologize if I am. So what we do now is we start the game, and once the game starts, you should get a fully random loadout. Like, I have Sky's assault rifle, a charged shotgun, a ray gun, a hand cannon, and chili chug splashes, which make me go fast. And there's all the locations on the map. You don't need the scoreboard up. If you look on the map, there's all the locations that you can go to. and stuff. This is just for mine that I'm making. Remember that yours can be entirely different and whatever you want it to be. But I hope everyone enjoyed and really found this helpful, because I was very confused when I tried to set up one of these before. But I hope everyone enjoyed, and goodbye.